After watching this amazing genius video, you will be able to identify different types of soil present around. But before we begin, आपको याद है how is soil formed? Very good. Soil is formed by weathering of rocks. चलो, the weathering of rocks produces small particles of various materials such as sand and clay. ठीक है? The relative amount of sand and clay depends upon the parent rock, that is, the rock from which the particles were formed. So, soil is nothing but a mixture of these rock particles and humus, the rotting dead matter present in the soil. So, now, do all the particles formed by the weathering of rocks have the same size? Batao? No. Different rock particles have different size, and based on the proportion of the particles of various size, soil जो है it is classified into different types. तो जो तीन मेजर टाइप्स ऑफ सॉइल हैं वो हैं सैंडी सॉइल, क्ले सॉइल एंड लोमी सॉइल. The size of the particles in a soil have a very important influence on its property. तो ज़रा अब हम टाइप्स ऑफ सॉइल को थोड़ा और डिटेल में पढ़ें. तो क्या आपने कभी नोटिस किया द टाइप ऑफ सॉइल नियर अ बीच? इट इज सैंडी सॉइल, है ना? इफ द सॉइल कंटेन्स ग्रेटर प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ बिग पार्टिकल्स तो उसे कहते हैं सैंडी सॉइल. तो अब कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स देखते हैं ऑफ सैंडी सॉइल. ठीक है, द सैंड पार्टिकल्स present in sandy soil are quite large. They cannot fit closely together, so there are large spaces between them. Now, these spaces are filled with air that makes sand well aerated. Also, water can drain quickly through the spaces between the sand particles. So, sandy soils tend to be light, well aerated and dry. चलिए अगले वाले टाइप पे चलते हैं सॉइल के. नाउ डू यू नो potters use which type of soil to carve beautiful pots? Correct, clay soil. बिल्कुल सही सोचा आपने. If the proportion of fine particles is relatively higher in a soil, तो then it is called clayey soil. तो कुछ characteristics देखते हैं clay soil के. Clay particles, being much smaller, pack tightly together, leaving little space for air. So, clay soils have little air. Unlike sandy soil, water can be held in the tiny gaps between the particles of clay. So, therefore, they are heavy as they hold more water than the sandy soils. And अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. अच्छा, एक मुझे बात बताओ, आपको गार्डनिंग पसंद है? कैन यू टेल मी विच टाइप ऑफ सॉइल वुड बी बेस्ट टू ग्रो कॉमन गार्डन प्लांट्स? इसका जवाब है लोमी सॉइल, है ना? तो इफ द अमाउंट ऑफ लार्ज एंड फाइन पार्टिकल्स इज अबाउट द सेम इन अ सॉइल तो उसे हम कहते हैं लोमी सॉइल. तो अब हम कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स देखते हैं लोमी सॉइल के. Loamy soil is a mixture of sand, clay, and another type of soil particle known as silt. अब silt जो है that occurs as a deposit in riverbeds. The size of the silt particles is between those of sand and clay. Loamy soil is rich in humus than the other type of soil. It is well aerated and has the right water holding capacity for the growth of plants. अब different types of soil के साथ में क्या होता है? Different types of soil are actually used, yeah, they are required to grow different types of crops. Cereals like wheat and gram grow well in clay and loamy soils, whereas cotton जो है that grows well in well drained and aerated sandy loamy soil. Rice paddy needs soils rich in clay and humus that can hold plenty of water. And जो lentils है जैसे कि हमारे मसूर, They grow well in loamy soils which drain water easily. तो अब एक क्वेश्चन को हम लोग सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करें जितना भी अभी तक हमने पढ़ा है. ओके, तो द क्वेश्चन सेज दैट इन इंडिया some of the best quality rajma is grown in Himachal Pradesh. अब rajma grows well in the type of soil that is a mixture of several types of particle and is rich in humus. So therefore dash soil would be best to grow rajma. अब क्या आपको याद है which type of soil contains mixture of different types of particles? बताओ. Loamy soil. It is the loamy soil which is a mixture of sand, clay and silt. And loamy soil is also rich in humus. तो सही जवाब है loamy. तो चलिए जल्दी से हम लोग रिवाइज करते हैं एक बार the three types of soil. ठीक है, तो 3 different types of soil जो हैं वो होती हैं. पहली सैंडी सॉइल, दूसरी क्लेई सॉइल एंड तीसरी लोमी सॉइल. Sandy soil contains greater proportion of big particles while clay soil has comparatively higher proportion of fine particles, and loamy soil is a mixture of sand, clay and silt. अच्छा, सैंडी सॉइल जो होती है वो क्या है? इट इज़ लाइट, वेल एरिएटेड एंड ड्राई, whereas clay soil is heavy, have little air and can hold plenty of water. And lastly, loamy soil has good water holding capacity. It is well aerated and also rich in humus than the other types of soil. So now that you know so much about different types of soil, ज़रा अपना जीनियस ऐप खोलो, कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो और वापस से आना एक और मज़ेदार सा अमेजिंग सा जीनियस वीडियो देखने. तब तक के लिए जीनियस से पढ़ो, जीनियस बनो. Download the Genius app now. Link in the description below.